Okay, this is a video to show what the cost and expenditures were for Cheyenne Emery's 1991 Honda Accord EX. We took it in. They had said that there was a transmission that had been bad on it. Anyway, here's the two different invoices for work we had done. This is the original invoice from Keys Japanese Auto Repair. They had stated that the S light came on. Cost for the transmission, the rear main seal, and then for motor mount. Discount that they gave down at the bottom. We owed $14.83. Cheyenne paid them basically $1,100. We paid them $800 with a payment that came through from Steve at Waterhouse Motors. He did a title loan against Cheyenne's car to pay for this transmission. $800, so she's going to be billed interest and fees for that $800. He paid them with a credit card over the phone, and then Cheyenne gave them $300 on her Wells Fargo account. Once again, this is the invoice dated this date. Okay, total bill on this thing was roughly $1,463 on this invoice. She paid $800 from a title loan that she got at Waterhouse Motors from Steve Garrity. He paid that over the phone, $800, and then she paid the other $300 with a credit card payment from Wells Fargo. That was because she'd had a transmission. She had a flashing S light on her. A flashing S light came on the dash, and then her car wouldn't go over 30 miles an hour. They told her that she needed to have the transmission replaced. The car was there for about 3 weeks. Took her a little while to get her money put together to pay off the bill. So anyway, a week and a half later, after she got her car out of Keys, and the car started to do the same exact thing again. After they said they replaced the transmission, replaced the crankcase or the rear main seal and a motor mount, which those two didn't cause the problem. But anyway, a week and a half after she paid this, drove out of there, she still owed them $383. The car started doing the same exact thing again, flashing S light on the dash. So Cheyenne was frustrated. She went to a gentleman who had 40 years of experience with Honda Motors. His name was Sam Waters. With he has a dealership out in Vernonia, Oregon, out by Banks, Oregon. She went to him. She told him the same thing. Says here, transmission replaced, S light flashes, trans converts to limp mode. Check and advise was $55. Problem found, trans shift control module shows signs of internal failure, replaced. And then he also replaced starter has internal failure, intermittent at start, replace starter as needed. Contract price for parts and labor is $525. Also replaced front, also inspected front end and adjusted for the alignment, and he replaced a worn tire for an extra $50. Total cost $525 plus $50. It was a total of $575. And here's his comments. Rebuilt starter, control module for transmission, used tire. Problem found, front motor mount broken and worn out, front struts rod loose, retorqued as needed, alignment was off, adjusted, signs of frame damage, left front tire front work bald, on inside replaced with used tire, rotated tires needed. No signs of motor mount rear replaced at this time, is what he said. I don't know, that was his opinion. Anyway, and then here is the actual computer module that they replaced for the automatic transmission. So, and then here's the total cost of the bills at this company, All-Star Dealer LLC. And then down here at the bottom you can see both credit cards. $445, like I said, total bill of $575, and then another credit card for the same time and date. 130 on one card, $445 on another. Anyway, two invoices back to back. Date on this job 11/26/12. Date on this job 11/17 of 2012. So the problem was, is we spent on this bill over here, we spent $1,100 for a transmission that was replaced in the car. The transmission, when this first happened, there was a flashing S light on the dash. There was not any problems as far as, noticeable problems with that transmission. It didn't slip. When you accelerated, it didn't slip. It didn't slip when you took off. Cheyenne simply drove the car from Vancouver, Washington to Jansen Beach, Oregon, just basically over the river on I-5, and she parked at Wells Fargo Bank. She got back in her car. The flashing S light was on, and her car wouldn't go over like 30 miles an hour. So she limped it home, went to this company. They diagnosed it that it needed to have a transmission replaced, that the tranny was bad, quote, quote. So they got a used tranny with 91,000 miles on it, put it in the car, they said they replaced a rear mainsail and a motor mount in the vehicle. She gave them $1,100 of their $1,463 bill. She still owed them $363. Drove out of there. A week and a half later, the car was doing the same exact mode. She was frustrated, took it to this gentleman. He diagnosed that it was the transmission shift control module. And then this is the actual unit that was taken out, and he replaced that, and the S light's gone away. So anyway, our frustration is we spent $1,100 over here, $800 from a title loan where she has to pay fees and interest, plus $300 cash from her Wells Fargo debit card, and now over here she had the additional cost for replacing the transmission control unit. And then he did additional stuff there because the actual starter wasn't. He replaced the starter because the starter was lagging at the time he tried it. Anyway, the starter had a lag issue going on, and he fixed the car had an alignment issue. It was wearing on the inside of the tire, so he checked out the alignment and basically the drivetrain on that, and he replaced the tire because the tire was worn and didn't feel it was safe for her to drive on it. Fixed the front struts, tightened them up back to retorqued them, and then put that on there. So basically we had additional expenses for replacing the transmission control unit. But the long story short is, even with him replacing the transmission control unit, putting in a starter, fixing the tire, and doing an alignment, it was $525, or excuse me, total of $575 with the tire, compared to $1,100 over here that didn't solve the problem. All in the same month. So what we're asking for is what's right. I mean, especially over here where she took and gave the title to her car to a gentleman to pay for this, when really all it needed was a transmission control unit. So, and this was from a Honda certified technician who'd worked for Honda for 30 years that did this job. And he said that that's probably what it was even when we talked to him over the phone. Anyway, that's the situation we're in. We're trying to make sure there's some type of fair compensation for Cheyenne, because she shouldn't have to pay for a misdiagnosis over here when this was the simple issue. If you have any other questions or concerns, get back to Cheyenne on this, and or myself. Thank you so much for your time. And this is recorded on Wednesday, December 5th, 2012 at approximately 9 o'clock at night. Thank you. How do you stop this?